As the first day of the Czech parliamentary elections is almost over, with only a few more hours to go today and on Saturday, we're now going to revisit this top story of today. This pivotal parliamentary election could potentially change the trajectory of the country is going to take over the next 4 years, and a lot is at stake. Joining me now is Jiří Pehe, former director of New York University Prague and the director of the political cabinet in the office of former President Václav Havel. Good evening and welcome to the program. Thank you for joining me.
Good evening.
So why do you think that Babiš's ANO party managed to get ahead of Petr Fiala's party in the polls and is likely to win the election?
Well, it is not so much that the Babiš party managed to get ahead in the polls because it has approximately the same support it had 4 years ago. It's that the support for the coalition Spolu, that is a coalition led by Fiala's party, dropped by about 10%. And the reason is that the Czech Republic went through some rough times economically. People have not fully recovered, and Mr. Babiš and his movement ANO have been able to use this very skillfully to portray the Czech Republic as an economic disaster, which of course is not true if we look at the numbers, but nevertheless they have managed to convince a significant part of Czech society that the Czech Republic is not doing very well. And that is the main reason for the opinion polls, or the results of the opinion polls that we have seen, and that will probably be reflected in the elections.
So why would you say Babiš is a somewhat controversial figure? Why is he a polarizing figure when it comes to the Czech political scene?
Well, Mr. Babiš is a populist who has no real program. His movement is not a real political party. It was created by him. He's a billionaire who basically created this movement, owns it, and there is almost no internal democracy within the movement. But also Mr. Babiš has a checkered history. He was a member of the Communist Party. He is on the list of former secret police agents, and he is criminally prosecuted for defrauding European money. So that is, of course, a lot to cope with, and it seems that about 30% of the Czech voters do not mind. They see him as a strong leader who could actually lead the country better than the current coalition, but a lot of people strongly disagree with him returning to the post of the prime minister.
And considering previous parliamentary elections across the continent that we've seen, Russian meddling was a big part of it. To what extent do you think Russian meddling could be actually part of this election taking part in the Czech Republic?
Well, there are definitely Russian attempts to meddle in the Czech elections. We have our share of disinformation servers, and there are various campaigns on social media which are quite obviously somehow managed or directed by Russia. The Czech Republic has been trying to deal with that problem, but as anywhere else, it is very difficult because obviously it is very difficult to trace the real perpetrators of these disinformation campaigns, and so yes, it's been around. Maybe in the Czech Republic it has not been as intense as in some other East European countries that are closer to Russia, but certainly it has played a role in the Czech elections, and we have several parties actually that could make it into the parliament, which are basically repeating Russian propaganda, and they have some kind of tie to Russia.
And if Babiš wins, what happens to Fiala's Czech ammunition initiative? Do you think that ANO would actually get rid of it, scrap it? And what actually would this mean for Ukraine?
Well, Mr. Babiš says that he would like to get rid of it. He says that it is not very economical, that there is corruption and so on, but the reasons may be personal, simply because Mr. Babiš is a billionaire, an entrepreneur who has not benefited very much, or his companies have not benefited very much from this ammunition initiative, so he's against it. But in general, he may actually not be against increasing the defense budget, because there may be a lot of money also for his companies and for the companies of his friends.
And how do you think such change in the Czech government would actually affect Czech Republic's relationship with countries such as Poland and with the European Union as a whole?
Well, Mr. Babiš is in the same faction of the European Parliament as Mr. Orbán, and he keeps repeating that he would like to revive the Visegrad cooperation by working closely with Orbán and with Slovak Prime Minister Fico. But of course, that also means that he may get on a collision course with Poland, which right now is not on the best terms with some of those Visegrad countries, especially with Hungary. So I think that if Mr. Babiš takes over and he tries to have sort of relations with Hungary, especially that he puts above good relations with Poland, that may cause a problem. As far as the European Union, I think that we will see a lot of anti-European rhetoric on his part, because that's what he has done for many years, and certainly we heard quite a few anti-European statements from him during his first mandate in 2017 to 2021. But at the same time, Mr. Babiš is quite pragmatic. He is, as I have mentioned, he's a entrepreneur with business interests not only in the Czech Republic but also in Germany, France, the Netherlands, and he will probably be quite careful about how he actually behaves in Brussels. So there may be a big sort of disconnect between how he talks about the European Union at home and how he actually behaves in Brussels when he is with other European leaders.
Jiří Pehe, former director of New York University Prague and the director of the political cabinet in the office of former President Václav Havel, thank you so much for joining me in the studio.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And so this would be all the latest news for now here on World News Tonight. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you back here on TVP World for more news and features. Good night.